And Professor Emeritus at Harvard Law School and author of The Preventive State, Professor Alan Dershowitz joins me. Good evening, sir. I know that you've certainly been following this for a long time intimately. Your thoughts on all this?
Well, I'm glad all this is coming out. On the day I was falsely accused, I announced that I waive all privilege, all privacy. I want everything out. I want everything, because it would prove my innocence. And it did. And ultimately, the woman who accused me withdrew her accusation and said she may have confused me or misidentified me and dropped all charges against me. So for innocent people, the most important thing is get everything out. Now, in case of Donald Trump, the same person who accused me, Virginia Giuffre, stated that she never met Donald Trump earlier. She had never met him. She had seen him, but she had never met him. And then Jeffrey Epstein comes along and, he's very manipulative. And he says, oh, she was in the same house for hours at a time. Why would anybody believe Jeffrey Epstein? Suddenly the media has taken on Jeffrey Epstein as their darling. Oh, if he said it, it must be true. Or if Wolf said it, it must be true. Take these emails with a grain of salt. That's number one. Number two, you're not going to get the whole story. Even if the administration and the Justice Department turns out everything they have, what's being suppressed is being suppressed by 3 federal judges in New York. They are suppressing depositions. That's really important. That's not grand jury. Grand jury is nonsense. Depositions. I know. I was there at the depositions. I know who was deposed. I know what they said. I'm under a gag order and I can't say it. But the New York Times and Newsmax should be going to court and saying to the judges, we want transparency. We want you to do what Congress has done. Remove the seal and everybody see these depositions.
What strikes me is that usually the seediest or the meatiest or whatever is the first to leak out the emails. These emails that have leaked out are pathetic because they don't say the president did anything wrong. What they did is they show how Michael Wolff, who would later write a book, was trying to get Epstein to sort of blackmail or say something about President Trump. And of course, that means, obviously Wolff hates Trump. That's what's so stunning to me. So if this is the gold, it's pretty pathetic.
No, I agree. And, I'm mentioned a couple of times in it. Jeffrey Epstein says that Donald Trump is borderline insane and that Dershowitz is close to it. And then he says I'm a terrible lawyer. So I'm really happy these came out because anybody who thinks I was a friend of Jeffrey Epstein after I represented him, after I was his lawyer, just read the emails. The guy hates my guts. And, we were fighting and we were suing each other. He thought I made the worst deal possible for him, that sweetheart deal, because he went to jail. And he terminated, and I terminated my relationship with him. I had an academic relationship. I used to go to all these conferences with all these Nobel Prize winners and big shots. I loved them, but I stopped going once I realized who Jeffrey Epstein was.
The other thing is that it's very easy to have a broad brush and blame anybody who remotely came in contact with him, even anybody who got a ride on his plane. And it's like, the lawyer in me wants everyone to sort of actually focus on the evidence, like who did what and whether this person did something wrong, not whether somebody knew him.
Of course, no. I was on his plane. I was his lawyer. He would send his plane for all of his lawyers. I went to his island. When he first bought the island, he invited me and my wife and my 10-year-old daughter to come and see his island. We had dinner with Michael Porter, a professor at Harvard. We stayed one night. There were no young people there, but I was on the island and I was on the plane. And a woman accused me. And then the woman ultimately said she may have misidentified me. She may have wrong person and all that. So I got completely vindicated.
Why?
And completely absolved of everything. But there are many other people who have been falsely accused, I think. And that's why it's important to turn everything out, because everything should be turned out. I'll give you an example. There's a woman named Sarah Ransom. She said she had videotapes of Donald Trump, of Hillary Clinton, of Bill Clinton, and of Branson, the guy from the airline.
Richard Branson.
Of them having sex with young boys and girls. And she circulated them all around. She sent them to the New York Post, sent them all over. Ultimately, she admitted made the whole story up. There were no tapes. And there are other women like that, too. Most of the victims are real victims. But there are exploitive people there who never met Epstein, who just got online to get money. And it's very important that everything come out so that people who are accused have the due process right to confront their accusers and prove that they didn't do it by the evidence that's in the case. So I think everybody.
Well, in that reason, it's transparency. We'll get the guilty ones, and the ones who have been sort of smeared, they get maybe their reputations back. So that's good. Alan Dershowitz, Professor Emeritus, thank you, sir. People think news just happens. It doesn't. It happens because there's someone there to capture the moment, to explain it and share it. That's my job. I go where news breaks and give you the facts. Join me for The Record on Newsmax.